Right, so at this point you should have read the extract through a couple of times and you should have a clear idea of what the extract is about. So we know that the person is frightened, we know that they are trying to get light into a room and they are working quite frantically and they feel that there may be something in the room. That's obviously making them feel that they may be in danger. So questions 1 and 2 are always the same. This video will then relate to the pack afterwards where you'll have practice sections just for questions 1 and 2. And questions 1 and 2 will start the paper. They are probably the most easiest questions that you will get because they are identified questions. So they're just asking you to look at a specific bit of the text and pick out a specific quotation or idea. Excuse me. So the first question, question number 1 for this extract is from lines 1 to 5, identify the word phrase that explains what has happened to the candle. So firstly, as in my last video, you should have numbered down your pages so you know where you are. And if you're looking from 1 to 5, you are looking at these lines here. It's always worthwhile making a note of where those lines are. Take your highlighter into the exam so that you know what section you're looking at. If you pick a quote from outside of that section, you are not going to get the mark. It's really, really important to remember that. So you're only looking at 5 lines and they're only asking for a quote, a word or phrase that explains what has happened to the candle. So again, reread. While I stood gaping, the candle at the foot of the bed went out. So the candle went out. That's my answer, but I'll just double check because it's only 5 lines and the shadows seem to take another step towards me. This won't do, I said. First one and first one and then another candle on the mantel shelf followed. What's up, I cried with a queer high note getting into my voice somehow. At that, the candle on the wardrobe went out. So actually I've got it repeated. So my answer for question 1 is really simple. What happened to the candle? Went out. The candle went out, and you can put went out in quotation marks in your answer to show that it's come directly from the text. Second question, a little bit more tricky. It will ask you for 2 responses. It will always be from lines whatever to whatever. Give 2 ways the narrator's behaviour shows that he is frightened. So you may use your own words or quotations from the text. If it is saying you can use quotations, don't waste time using your own words. Just put the quotations down. It's really quick, really simple, and then you focus on the content. So again, we know it's lines 6 to 11. So I'm going to mark that here. Try not to get confused. Ideally, you might use a different colour for the different questions, but 6 to 11, which is this bracket here. Draw a little box around so you know what you're doing. And we are looking for 2 ways the narrator's behaviour shows that he is frightened. Steady on, said I. These candles are wanting, speaking with a half hysterical fastidiousness. If someone is half hysterical, we could say that they are frightened. And scratching away at a match the while for the mantle candlestick. My hands trembled so much, so hands trembling again could be a sign of fear, so much that twice I missed the rough paper of the matchbox as the mantle emerged from darkness again. 2 candles in the remoter end of the window were eclipsed, but with the same match I also relit the large mirror candle and those on the floor near the doorway. So in that moment it seemed to gain on the extinctions. So we've got 2 really clear quotes there. He is half hysterical and his hands are trembling. You can put those directly as quotes. If you wanted to write in your own words, you could potentially say that obviously he's acting quite quickly and he keeps relighting the candles so that he's got light in the room, and he's doing that in a quick way, in a frightened way, in a frantic way maybe. But your 2 quotes are there. So my advice for the first 2 questions is keep it really simple. If it says give a quotation, give a quotation. Don't waste time putting it in your own words. The questions will always be the same. Question 1 will always ask you to identify a word or phrase that explains something. And question 2 will ask you for 2 ways the article or the extract shows you something. It's normally an emotion. And from video 1, we know that this extract is about a man being frightened. So in your pack that corresponds to questions 1 and 2, you've got 5 extracts, each with a practice question 1 and question 2. So you can either stay with this extract and work through this along with the videos, or if you want to practice your answers to 1 and 2, you can work through the pack that is associated with this video. Okay, the next video will be about question 3.